if you look at 2022 first, what that year has witnessed is a reversion of a trend in global affairs that started back in 2009, 2010 with the famous pivot to Asia, meaning a lot of the world was tired with the Middle East and wanted to focus elsewhere. What 2022 has seen is the Middle East coming back front and center to the attention of global policymakers and great powers. And that's for 3 or 4 important reasons. One is, of course, the energy crisis. Note that 2022 was the first year where the number of people without access to electricity has increased in the past 2 decades. So people are realizing that yes, the energy transition is important, but you need to do it in a way that is inclusive and that engages the Middle East and not the other way around. Second, on geopolitics, the war in Ukraine has brought home the fact that you cannot, even if you want to compete with other regions of the world, you cannot overlook the role of the Middle East. We've seen the Chinese president, the American president visit Saudi Arabia. We've seen an announcement on a GCC-EU strategic partnership. We've seen many countries in the Gulf trying to play mediating roles on the conflict in Ukraine, for instance. Number 3 is climate change. That's an important factor. The 2 COPs, one in Sharm el-Sheikh, the following one coming up in a few months in Dubai, made the region at the center of global efforts and discussions on climate change, which is even more important than it was. And finally, on the economy, as you alluded, the GCC was the fastest growing, or one of the fastest growing sub-regions for 2022, driven in part, yes, by energy markets. But the other piece that is equally important is that many countries in the region are reaping the fruits of reforms and ambitious transformation programs that were planted 5, 10, and for some of them 20 years ago. And now that agility and that fast-paced policy making was apparent in face of the COVID pandemic, and it is apparent now in a very challenging global context. So on the short term, the outlook, I foresee that, or most experts foresee that that trend is going to continue into 2023.